The championship battle is about to explode, and Zandvoort might just be where everything changes forever. After weeks of anticipation, during the summer hiatus, F1 Academy competitors are gearing up for what promises to be an absolutely crucial weekend at the Dutch circuit. This particular track holds special significance. It's the only racing venue that has welcomed the series across all 3 seasons of its existence, making it somewhat of a spiritual home for these rising stars. Following extensive testing sessions at this very circuit just weeks ago, every driver should theoretically know every corner and elevation change by heart. But here's where it gets controversial. Knowing a track and performing under championship pressure are 2 completely different beasts. The question isn't whether these drivers are familiar with Zandvoort. It's whether they can handle the mounting pressure as the title fight intensifies. Doriane Pin seizes control when it matters most. The French sensation has delivered a masterclass in championship timing. Her commanding 3rd victory of the season in Montreal didn't just add another trophy to her collection. It marked a pivotal moment where she became the year's first multiple race winner and dramatically reclaimed the championship lead after spending 2 entire rounds watching from behind. But here's the twist, and nobody saw coming. Chloe Chambers has emerged as Pin's primary threat, sitting just 20 points behind in what has become an unexpectedly tight 2-horse race. The American driver's journey to this position hasn't been without drama. A collision with her own Campos Racing teammate Alicia Palmowski in Montreal's opening race robbed her of a potential victory. However, Chambers bounced back with remarkable resilience, capturing her maiden win of the season with a composed drive from pole position that showcased exactly why Red Bull Ford believes in her potential. Meanwhile, Maya Weug's championship hopes took a devastating blow during the Canadian rounds. The Ferrari-backed driver, who many considered a title favorite heading into the season, suffered through what can only be described as a weekend from hell. Technical gremlins plagued her throughout, preventing any realistic shot at meaningful points accumulation. Her lone bright spot came in the final race, where she carved through the field from 15th to 6th place, a drive that reminded everyone of her raw talent, but ultimately felt like too little too late. Now trailing Pin by 37 points, Weug faces an uphill battle that many are already calling mathematically challenging. Last year's Zandvoort weekend belonged entirely to Pin, who achieved the rare feat of a perfect weekend sweep. Pole position, fastest lap, and victory all rolled into one dominant performance. If she can recreate even half of that magic while outscoring Chambers by more than 19 points, the championship mathematics become incredibly favorable for the French driver, putting her more than a full weekend's worth of points ahead of her closest pursuer. Here's the fascinating part most people miss. Pin's largest points advantage over Chambers in any single weekend so far has been just 12 points. This upcoming Dutch round represents her golden opportunity to potentially wrap up the championship fight before heading into the season-ending Singapore and Las Vegas doubleheader. Palmowski's redemption arc begins now. Alicia Palmowski enters Zandvoort carrying the weight of Montreal's disappointments. But calling her Canadian performance entirely negative would be misleading. The Red Bull Racing-supported driver demonstrated raw pace by securing her 2nd consecutive front-row qualifying position, proving her one-lap speed remains elite level. However, race day execution told a different story entirely. Her aggressive Turn 1 maneuver in the opening race, while brave, resulted in championship-costly contact with Chambers. Race 3 brought fresh heartbreak when a collision with McLaren's Ella Lloyd eliminated another podium opportunity. These incidents have cost Palmowski the rookie championship lead, which now belongs to Lloyd, following her impressive string of 3 straight runner-up finishes. And this is the part most people miss about Palmowski's situation. Weather forecasts suggest rain throughout the Zandvoort weekend, which could completely flip the competitive order. The British driver has consistently shown exceptional wet weather skills, and combined with her strong testing performances at this exact circuit, conditions might align perfectly for her redemption story. PREMA's championship machine roars back to life. Despite being two-time teams champions, PREMA Racing looked surprisingly vulnerable earlier this season. After Miami's third round, the Italian powerhouse found themselves in an unfamiliar third place, trailing Campos Racing by 20 points and sitting 6 points behind MP Motorsport in what appeared to be a genuine championship upset in the making. What happened next can only be described as vintage PREMA dominance. One round later, they've completely flipped the script, now commanding a substantial 27-point lead over Campos after outscoring their rivals by a staggering 47 points in Montreal alone. This remarkable turnaround stemmed from multiple drivers hitting peak form simultaneously. In's victory and third-place finish provided the foundation, but Alpine's Nina Gatteman delivered crucial support with a double podium weekend, while Aston Martin's Tina Houseman matched her career-best F1 Academy result with fourth place in the final race. Meanwhile, Campos Racing experienced their worst weekend of the season, missing out on 4 separate point-scoring opportunities, more than they'd lost across the previous 3 rounds combined. But here's where it gets controversial. Can PREMA maintain this momentum, or was Montreal simply an anomaly? Their ability to consistently extract performance from multiple drivers has historically been their greatest strength. But Campos has shown they're not ready to surrender without a fight. Larsen's podium drought becomes the season's biggest mystery. Alba Larsen currently occupies 6th place in the standings, making her the highest-positioned driver still searching for her breakthrough podium moment. This statistic becomes even more intriguing when you consider her debut weekend in Shanghai, where she immediately demonstrated championship-caliber pace with a 4th-place finish in just her second-ever F1 Academy race. Since that impressive introduction, the Tommy Hilfiger-backed Danish driver has maintained remarkable consistency, adding 4 additional top 5 results to her resume. The numbers suggest podium success should be inevitable, yet somehow that final step remains elusive. Here's a fascinating subplot that's been flying under the radar. Following Emma Felbermeyer's victory in Montreal's second race, 2025 has produced 3 of the 5 youngest race winners in F1 Academy history. The Kick Sauber driver was merely 1 month older than record holder Bianca Bustamante, who set the benchmark at 18 years, 3 months, and 18 days during Valencia's second race in 2023. This creates an intriguing scenario where only 3 drivers, Larsen, her MP Motorsport teammate Joanne Ciconti, and Tag Heuer's Ava Enigmastiadis, remain eligible to potentially break that age record before the season concludes. Given Larsen's consistent speed and her recent selection for the prestigious Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy program starting in 2026, many expect her podium breakthrough to happen sooner rather than later. But here's the question that's dividing opinion among fans and experts. Is her lack of podium finishes a sign of missing that killer instinct required for race wins, or simply bad timing that will inevitably correct itself? What do you think? Are we witnessing a future champion finding her feet? Or is there something fundamentally different about drivers who win early versus those who build up gradually? The Zandvoort weekend might finally provide that answer. But it's a debate worth having in the comments below.